if it wasn't for me not really talking yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Tell us when we're going, Alex. We should probably start sooner than later. I have other stuff, problems to deal with. But, yeah. We'll see. I think our horn needs to be straighter.
And I welcome everyone to an extra special edition of Yoda Soda Creations, the podcast. This time for these guys it's this time it's sort of a recap, but considering that these guys basically just didn't bother touching it until now. It's a bit weird. Anyway, there's a very special reason we're doing this. It is the 7th anniversary of one of my favorite fan fictions of all time, Past Tense.
Oh, didn't realize that. Huh.
If you look on the author's fan fiction blog, I think he pretty much confirmed it.
Oh,
somewhere.
Interesting.
I think I did see that, but yeah. I think I logged that off somewhere else, you know what I mean? I was like busy at the time. I kind of didn't remember it till now.
Yeah, I didn't really look at the author's page. It's like, oh, this is a popular fan from way back when. I should probably get around to reading this sometime. And add it to the nook.
Never touched till now, yeah.
These days, I tend to read through 5-10 chapters, depending on chapter size, to really judge. Okay, should I add this to my list or should I just skip it?
Yeah. I definitely don't have much time to read fanfics at night. I've actually kind of stayed away from them because I if I start reading something, I usually can't stop reading it until it's done.
Yeah.
Which is bad because I'm in college and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, I know how that is.
Not smart to do stuff like that.
So Colin, I believe we were supposed to go over those notes you had.
Yeah.
Actually, that's so. Just off my head.
You cut out quite a lot.
Sorry.
We were getting a lot of skipping.
That's weird.
It wasn't just me, too. Okay, I'm like...
Anyway, I just, thoughts off the top of my head kind of throughout the story. Well, most of the story. A bit of the story, I kind of stopped having thoughts to write down about halfway through, really. But then that's where it really started getting interesting. So I kind of got more into it and less thinky about it.
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, your point of how you had to put your mind in an older world because they were just writing this right after the show had started, basically. And
yeah.
I had not been around that time, so I had to I had to remember what had happened and what hadn't.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, Unicorn Twilight, that takes me back.
A darker age, no. I don't know.
But yeah, it's like, so yeah, going off my list, and this is generally in order from beginning to where I stopped taking notes. So yeah, that ritual at the beginning, very Harry Potter Goblet of Fire-ish vibe from that.
Yeah, we didn't get much of that afterwards. We got a little bit much later. It's kind of not. I'm okay with magic not being explained. It's either it kind of fell in a weird zone for me because either you don't explain it or you really explain it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was kind of like halfway in between both. Like they're like, this happens because of this, and then you're like, that's it. Oh, okay. And they didn't explain it much further. Whereas like I read books where it's like, and magic happened, and it's like, okay, yeah, you don't really care because you're not supposed to understand it.
Yeah, I'm learning not to look too much into that, given that it was written early on in the show.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's like, yeah. It's, next up.
They were
What?
The way I say it, they were kind of trying to help you visualize it. In fact, at times I almost thought this would have been a good film, animation, or something script.
It would have been, yeah. This whole story would have been fun for an animation. It'd take a long time. Obviously, it's a very in-depth story.
Yeah.
I
can kind of see that.
The author would have to give permission, obviously, and stuff like that.
I think there has. It's just that some of them haven't really. Some of them either haven't taken off, or there's a long development process, or they haven't quite gotten back to finishing it yet.
Yeah, animation, as you might see me drawing. Good luck trying to, if you're doing the classic type where you draw every frame. No, good luck. But like,
yeah, animation is not easy.
I am aware of that though.
If and I don't know what the following is of this anime. Like if it's kept up a steady base, a reading base. But yeah, if it's one of the older ones and and newer stuff came along, the artists usually they're like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this because I don't know if people will remember it. You know what I mean? Not that it's any worse, but just people have a hard time dedicating that much time to something that might not be watched. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just scary. It's scary if you tried to draw it. Like I've always kind of wanted to do animation, then I started, and then I was like, oh, and then the stigma and the people that are around the animation were like people who would probably watch it kind of left, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to continue this because it's taking so much time.
Yeah.
What do you say? I think that's our general base for this.
Not bad so far.
It's very rough, but it will hopefully improve.
Yeah, gotta start somewhere.
I'm doing a different way of drawing art than doing my usual way of doing it, of just not messing up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've been doing like the whole draw 40 times and keep one of them. A lot of the way people do is they just do this, right? And then they just go over it again and then just, take more time on the final go at it. But then they'll have like something to work with. Okay. So going above all of it. Okay.
Anyway, the Scootler's parents thing you were going on about. You were going on about. Sorry, you were going on about Colin. I'm surprised I actually didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's like, Scootler having parents. Like, was this before the whole orphan Scootler thing really became like a thing, or I wasn't really following the fan trends back then, so I don't know when things really started.
Yeah, and same with me. I wasn't around at the time. I was pretty busy, I think, when this came out. So I didn't. I also didn't really know much about the show. So, and all I gathered is all late. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you. Like I would consider myself semi-recent. You know what I mean? Like within like the last year or so, which is pretty new.
I think it was 2016 that I got to know you in this profession.
26. Okay, yeah. What was I doing?
Because I know I'd been to your place the year before, but
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe was I into it? I might not have been. Fan fiction hasn't been my thing up until recently. You know what I mean? I just didn't read fan fiction. I didn't have a lot of time. Reading wasn't my thing in general. I'd never read anything really until I started doing audiobooks.
Whereas with me, it's like I basically grew up with fan fiction.
Okay, yeah. I grew up with originals or nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and that was all. You know, I never got into. I read a couple books, but that's about it, and nothing more.
I also started in. I think it's supposed to call it official. I think it's supposed to call it official print, and then fan fiction. And then I didn't discover fan fiction until much later. Then again, and at that time, I was in a different fandom.
What were you up to?
First story I ever read was actually a Sonic the Hedgehog. The Archie comics, to be precise.
Oh. Huh.
I have played Sonic, but I've never been a huge fan. Yeah, I've never had enough. I don't know. I've always been very busy. I've never had.
Oh wait, go.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, fandoms weren't. I hadn't been really into them. You know what I mean? I was Star Wars. I was just a Star Wars fan, basically. I'd say. Nothing really about that.
When I got into Sonic, it was basically in the cartoon comics. Basically whatever didn't involve playing, so to speak.
Oh, okay, yeah. I played a Sonic game. That's all I've really done.
Like I somewhat knew they were based on. Like I sort of knew they were based on the games, but at the same time, it was more convenient to just watch tales unfold, read tales unfolding, and things like that.
So you were more drawn to just other forms. I mean, other medias, basically.
Other forms of media.
Yeah.
With Fiddler's parents, I think it's something around the lines of. I think it depends on what the person thinks. I think it depends on what the person is. What the person wants to apply.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, one of the other versions of this, it was almost thought that Radiant and Sweet were orphans at one point. Then we got their parents, and then the other was like, oh shoot, I gotta revise this.
Yeah, so maybe the Orphan School thing was like a season 3 and after thing. I don't know. Just thought it was something interesting to note.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if
I think.
I'm not sure if it's a heavy implication, but at the same time, she did. At the same time, I'm not sure if it was a heavy implication, but at the same time, yes, it was pretty nice to know that she had a sister.
Ah, yes. I've I've always kind of liked story. I don't know. If I read a story, if you read a story, do you care? I get really involved in characters usually. What about you guys? Like,
Yeah.
I
Depends on if they're written well, but if they are, it's like, yeah, I'd definitely get invested.
obviously they have to be good characters, right? But like, if they are good characters, I get super into them usually.
Yeah.
Like, again, in the same book series I'm talking about, there was like a love couple, a couple that always isn't hinted at being in love, right? But they never really showed it too much, and it always like, it was like, it was intentional to kind of hold you, you know what I mean? They were holding it back, but it was sad because the author like died and never finished it. It just gets me. I'm like, oh, we'll never know the true story, right?
I've had that happen with a few fanfics, actually. It's like, I'm invested in these characters, and then the author dies. It's like, well, cry, this is never being finished.
Nope.
Because unlike actual books, they don't have someone like, oh, well, you're a good author, you can finish it up using the notes and stuff. But
yeah.
you don't get that with fanfics.
Died or no longer writing, or mysteriously disappeared. I think is what.
No, like the author I'm speaking of died. Like, he actually did pass away, and it was really sad, and just there was a bunch of he had like 4 series, and all of them are like kind of there's like one of them that had an ending basically, and sadly it wasn't even my favorite. There's one of the ones that I read them all, but it wasn't my favorite, you know what I mean? But I wish it had a closure.
I'm not denying the other death possibility. I'm not denying the other death possibility. It's just that there's been other reasons why they haven't come back.
Yeah.
And finished.
It's usually with fanfic. It's usually they just
stop.
Yeah. Or it got too much for them, or it's too much work. I've always kind of wanted.
Or they just moved on to other things.
Yeah, they started other stories and they just do those now. Before I knew the settings of the website, I read like 1 or 2 fanfics that didn't have endings, and I didn't know that. And so I got like all the way through them and up to the end, and then I'm like, okay, I've read up to where he's finished, and I like checked on his website, and it's like last update 2012, and you're like, oh, you're like, why did I not see that?
Yeah, it's like that's happened to me a couple times. Like, why did I start reading this? Why is it not continuing? Why?
I'll never know what happens. I mean, I guess you could ask the author and say, can I finish it for you? But that's so much more work, and it's, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Or if somebody else finished it, it's like, it's, even if it was a good ending, right?
Yeah, it's like an ending would be nice.
Yeah, just something, yeah.
Like, give me closure.
It's what I want.
Eh,
It's all I crave. Yeah. Luckily, this one has an ending. From what I've heard, though, it doesn't. It kind of has an ending, but it's more of a cliffhanger-ish. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like, okay, everything's reset, and it's like, yeah, it's gratifying, definitely. Which is kind of all you can ask for with fanfics. And luckily, it sounds like there's a lot more. I mean, there's several more works by him. But yeah.
So I was reaching a conclusion that it is left open for him or someone else to extend upon is probably the best term I would go. Probably the best term I would go for.
Okay.
So, next part of the list, I guess.
Yeah, go on.
Because guess where one of the Sonic guess where the Sonic cartoons guess where one of the Sonic cartoons went. It ended on a cliffhanger, and yet it was continued with a comic series.
Oh, so it maybe continued eventually. It's hard to say.
So yeah, next up on the list, not spoiled rich, because they actually gave her a different name. She wasn't a thing at this point in time, obviously, so, a different name. Still horrible.
Yeah. They maybe the creators of the show read this and they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll make her bad. And they just one for one copied it.
Yeah, it was weird reading that bit. It's like, whoa. That's so.
Does
you
something
must have seen the future.
I mean, it must happen with some things eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's the strange thing about that assumption, though. Usually the staff is not allowed to look into stuff. Usually the staff has a bit of a thing with stuff like fan fiction and fan animations. They will take art, but
Are fan fictions off the table, sort of?
basically, you read something in a fan fiction you expect them to show. Sorry, there's a high chance they're not going to do that.
Well, if you're a writer, you want to write your own stuff, kind of. You know what I mean? And you don't want to look like you're copying somebody. That's the problem with trying to,
To be fair, like with how Diamond Tiara is, you could reasonably expect the cause to be the parents, so.
Yeah.
It's, and on that note, skipping ahead a little bit, and of course I had to revoke the note later on due to further revelations upon the cause of acting like that. Filthy Rich was kind of horrible, but then we find out why.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those, they were going to make him, I don't know, like, was it a cop-out? Do you think that was an added idea, or is that something they were going to do all along? It feels kind of like it wasn't something they were going to do, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then we're like, maybe we should just have all the characters not be incredibly evil. And it was not their fault all along, right?
Right.
They don't hint at it. He doesn't hint at it earlier on,
Yeah, it's like, and they had this thing where it's like, oh, if they were affected by this, they had like, what was it, turquoise eyes or something?
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember that coming up. Maybe I missed it, but
I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know. They don't change. It's not as bad as some other fanfics that can crop up where it's like they change the terms constantly, but there are a couple term changes I think in this series. Like
it seems like they had kind of an idea of where they were going at first, and then like later on, it's like, ooh, well, what if this was a thing, and that's why they were like that, and you know, it kind of feels like something kind of got changed along the way.
Yeah, it's hard to look out for those types of things.
And like, since I never read the original version, I don't know if that's like something to do with like the rewrites or.
Yeah, it's hard. Kind of hard to ever tell. I mean, it'll probably be impossible to tell.
I think there was a bit of a revision. I think there was a bit of a first revision during the original. I think there was a bit of a first revision during the original writing, and then of course. And then the second one we all know had to come out after season 2.
Yeah.
It's probably a decent base.
Anyway, feel free to put those in as questions in case I get the idea of an interview at some point.
Right. Okay, so. Oh yeah, I forgot about this bit. Yeah, Twilight seemed to kind of have a few anger issues earlier on. I thought, attachment to Nix and all that, but I don't know. Maybe they weren't very clear on just how much time has actually passed since since how long they've been together.
Yeah.
But it's like her just kind of blowing her top at Diamond Tiara, it's like, huh. You know.
I don't know. That seems to make sense to me, sort of. I sort of gathered that they've been together for a decent amount of time. I don't know if I don't know if that was just me or not. You know what I mean? I could see why you get mixed up.
I think they didn't really have a good sense of flow of time early on, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I totally understand that, yeah.
And it's like the whole blowing up to if I remember correctly, she went all like flamey and stuff. It's like.
Yeah, we haven't. That was kind of fun because you haven't seen Flame Twilight in a long time. It's kind of a fun reference. It would have been more topical, obviously, when it was first written, because that wasn't that long ago. But that's like 7 seasons ago now.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh yeah, she did do that when I read that, and like I forgot about that.
Yeah, she did do that like once or twice.
Was it twice now? I think it might have been once. Yeah.
I don't know if she's. I remember the one time. Don't know if it happened a second time, but whatever. That's like 1 or 2 times, either or, whatever.
I think it was kind of meant as more of an emotional thing, but the fans took it as, or like, a cartoon thing, right? Like it didn't actually happen, but the fans took it more as a real thing that happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
If any of you are curious, it's actually a bit of a comic that's sort of there's a comic version of the story. There's a comic version of the story. I look in full that there is a comic version of the story. They finished the chapter that you're probably referring to. That probably goes a bit further into
Right.
A bit more reasoning into the.
And part of it's probably because of when it was written. Because they still didn't quite have as much, character built for Twilight and everyone else.
It's basically more for that saying it as opposed to you're reading her, as opposed to you reading her thoughts. You kind of put her voice in your head as you're put her voice in your head as you're saying them.
I feel like on the character building point, I kind of agree that a lot of them had extreme so they hadn't it was earlier on in the season and we hadn't seen all of what the characters were like and the more subtle attributes of each one of them. So like, you know, Rainbow Dash was just absurdly loyal, right? And that's it. You know what I mean? Nothing about her softer side, nothing about anything, you know. And like Pinkie Pie was pretty aggravating to me, at least. You know what I mean? Or she was kind of like original Pinkie Pie, where she was just fun and bombastic and just doesn't understand anything. Where they've kind of switched her to fun and bombastic, but understands when to stop. You know what I mean?
Right. It kind of makes you wonder or how a season 8 revision would go.
Yeah. That'd be pretty interesting to see. Like maybe Wing Twilight and Friendship Castle. That'd be a lot different, probably.
Yeah, and you could fill the spot with Chancellor Naysay.
Yeah, you could do something like that, or what for Nexus?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably someone better.
Well,
Naysay. Sorry, yeah, Naysay would work. I for some reason I thought of the other lady. Yeah, Naysay would definitely work. It'd probably be more or less connected because the Golden Oak Library was a lot smaller of a setting.
True.
Obviously, and the castle would be kind of. It might be fun to have her be. She's more equal. She would be more equal in this because you know, she was still the holy. Oh, the princesses. Oh, you know. That whole charade type of deal. Where she's still in awe, basically, whenever the princesses are on screen.
Right.
Whereas, you know, now she's not that big a deal. You know, everyone knows him. You know, they're like, yeah, the princesses are here, whatever.
Yeah, it's like royalty in Equestria, a big deal, unless it isn't.
Not anymore. Everyone knows him now, so.
And on that kind of note, like the next note, which also had to be slightly up due to, you know, what we learned later. Yeah, what's his face? The guy in charge of Celestia's school.
Nexus.
Yes, him.
Nexus, yeah. I remember his name because I have a Android tablet called the Nexus.
Ah, yeah, he was horrible.
Yeah.
Until the cop-out happened.
Yeah. It wasn't him all along. He was number one.
It's like, I hate that when that happens where it's like, oh, well, it turns out no one at all is responsible for their own actions. There are no consequences for anything.
So on that note, right? I did like the resolution with Nyx at the end. That was really nice. I like that. That made sense, but I didn't get much of the other. No one getting any punishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the same time, at least Nexus is a bit more likable.
A bit. A hint. Yeah. I don't know. I guess. Yeah, we don't know much about him, so there's not much connection with him.
It just felt like a cheap resolution to the situation.
Yeah.
Obviously over the time of this fic, until that point, you basically get you're basically like, he was kind of the naysay at the time, but thankfully not kind of the naysay at the time without the speciesist kind of thing, because obviously they hadn't expanded at the time.
Yeah.
He's kind of more of a
Nightmare Loyalist.
I don't know how to put it. I was gonna say he's kind of the Snape. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, he wasn't wrong all along. You know, in the first movie, where he just kind of got away with everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's fine.
It just felt like it was an aspect that was just kind of tacked on at the end at the last minute.
Yeah, I guess so. That's what I mean to say.
Like I said, feel free to hold on to these for possible questions in case I think of doing an interview. In case I think of interviews at some point.
Coloring randomly. She's got dark, like, it looks a lot darker in this for some reason. Is it just my screen? Might just be my screen.
I think you're using a nighttime reference of sorts.
Yeah, it makes sense though, because if there's not, yeah, kind of like it actually dark. I'm trying to not be cheap and not use any layers, so good luck. Oh boy.
Of course, you remember the detailed room was a bit dim, though, so...
That's what I mean.
Was there anything else?
Yeah, I really, like I was saying earlier, I liked the Philly sections a lot. And I really liked the last aspect of the book. And I wish there was maybe one more chapter or something of them getting back in, because I felt like they kind of rushed. Oh, he kind of rushed it. You know what I mean? Like he was feeling. It kind of felt like he didn't want to write about this for a bit. He wanted a break because he set up a lot of stuff that could have been a lot of fun. And I haven't read the next parts to this story, so I don't know if he's covered a lot of it. But yeah, I could see like a whole series based on her legitimately growing up now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And speaking of like the something. Sorry, my mind kind of blanked out for a second there.
Can I
Yeah.
make a quick interjection first?
Oh, sure.
He basically reminded me of that one scene where she wanted to hold on to last good memory if negotiations didn't actually go in their favor. That's what you reminded me of.
Sorry, the what? Sorry, I was a little confused.
Yeah, kind of muffled out a bit there.
Yeah.
You were talking about one last Philly section.
I don't know. Was I? Oh.
Well, anyway,
the last. Yeah.
Well, anyway, you reminded me a bit of the. You reminded me a bit of this. You reminded me a bit of the part near the end of 19, where she was thinking if things didn't go in their favor, she would have one last good memory to hold on to.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh. She wanted to be a Philly again, basically. Yeah. Yeah, those are my favorite. So we both like the same things, obviously. We wanted more of the same stuff. Did I grab the wrong color? I can't. Okay, I'm just gonna zoom in. There we go. There we go. We're back in business.
And Speaking of the Philly stuff, yeah, that school play that they had actually shown recognition to recent events.
Yeah. Referencing, it'd be kind of weird. It's like I get it, right? It would be kind of funny if school plays are about things that were happening currently. You know what I mean? Usually school plays are more ancient, you know what I mean? Ancient ruins. But I guess their world is more like that right now, currently. I don't know.
Yeah, Scootaloo got to play the part of Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, who is sitting in the crowd.
Yeah, it's like, that's how you know it's a fanfic. The main six actually get recognition for what they've done.
Yeah, what if... It's kind of fun, yeah. You can't... Oh, shoot, this is going to be... It's as dark as the highlight. Oh.
My guess is you guys haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender or Ember Island players yet.
The what? Sorry?
My guess is you guys haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender or the Ember Island players yet.
I've watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's one of my faves.
So, okay, so you know the show, but you don't actually remember the episode of the Ember Island players?
I do, yes, I remember that. Yes, sorry. I did not like that episode.
Well, that's basically what they did with the school play.
That's true. Hadn't thought of that. Trying to figure out how to make this work. I think I'll just have to go in by hand and cut them off.
And that was only the tip of the iceberg, because if you actually pay attention, there are smaller, more subtle ones.
Oh shoot! Look, it's on a different layer. Oh no! Oh, that's the hair. Okay. How does that connect? Oh. How does that connect? I'm so confused. Oh, it connects. Doesn't connect there. Connect the dots, guys. You didn't know you were playing it till you're playing it. It snuck up on you. Look at that. Did you see that? This is what we're gonna have to do, guys. Boop. Boop. No, apparently her wings are on a different dimension. They are. Well, no, wait. No, that's a pillow. That's fine. Okay, we're good.
Do you have any other notes?
I
was talking to Colin.
Oh, sorry.
Hello?
Is you there?
Oh, sorry, I forgot I muted the microphone for a moment. Whoops. My bad.
Any other notes you had?
Oh, yeah, 2 more left. Celestia actually trying to do something about a potential threat. Now we know that's not realistic.
Forgot about that.
Like I said in the pre-show, there are some. Like I said in the pre-show, best description I've seen of something like that was basically, it's kind of hard to characterize her because she's either Twilight's mentor and emotionless, or the requester and emotionless. At least at the time.
It's and as you said, sarcasm earlier, it's the Dumbledore issue of we didn't know what they were like for a while, so
yeah, it's I could get anywhere between like master manipulator and bumbling fool. It's like,
Yeah. It's a hard balance. It's kind of the whole Sherlock does the same stuff, you know, where it's like he's a master at fighting at one scene, and then in the next he's like, oh, you know, you've fallen for my trap, you know, and just totally fails, right? It's like, what, you know, like earlier on you showed that you were amazing, you know what I mean?
There's one thing that remains consistent though. He is observant. He is a detective. He's observant. He's a detective. He eyes and brains, and well, at times he's right in the end. When you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. That's one of
I
my
love
favorites.
this. Yeah.
That's one of my
Did you watch
favorites.
newest
That's one of my favorite
Sherlock?
quotes from him, by the way.
Have you watched some of the newer Sherlocks? They're very good.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yes, yes.
I've watched season / series 1 of
trying
it.
to get into.
Sorry, what was that sarcasm?
Oh, I've watched season / series 1 of it.
Oh, okay, yeah. And Alex, you said that you're trying to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's intense, that story, first of all. It's a lot more intense than a lot of them have been. Which I was saying earlier in the pre-show, like that's one of the reasons why I like My Little Pony is it's usually not too intense, right? I've never, like, if I do a fanfic, personally, I don't usually like dark ones. Again, personal preference. Just I like having happy moments, basically, or you know.
Right.
I like the classical style. I'm a soppy person. I like having the good guys win in the end, you know. And I like maybe some loss is good, but I don't like a lot of loss either. I'm even that type of soppy person. Like I don't like main characters dying. It depends.
This is basically good, but the Friendship Romantic is basically a good balance between not too girly, but at the same time not too gritty.
Yeah. This one was one of the. It gets almost gritty with like the whole execution thing. It's like, whoa, geez, you know. That was a tonal shift for me, to be honest, because it was like it wasn't doing anything like that up until that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean even the series can get dark at times. Like, yeah, look at the Crystal Empire War timeline from the season 5 finale.
Yeah.
With what happened with Rainbow Dash's wing, it's like, whoa.
Whoa. That kind of made me, like, stuff like that for some reason just makes me sad or kind of weird because I think about it incredibly hard for some reason. I don't just think of it as something funny or cool. It's just like, whoa. I want the story behind it. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, that's what happened.
Also, partially, it's for me, it was like, whoa, that was my fanfic idea for a mini arc.
Oh, whoa.
No kidding. I've been procrastinating in writing, but it's like, long story short, time travel's involved, and well,
yes,
kind of a similar thing happening there.
It's kind of the whole. I think again I'm gonna use Star Wars as an analogy. Not really. I'm not gonna reference it much, right? But like Luke is given the lightsaber, right? He's given a lightsaber, right? And then we see him lose it, right? And it doesn't stay lost, right? But it's still lost. But he gets a new one, and it's his, right? So it changes, right? I like when something's replaced with something better, right? I don't like when something's just cut away entirely and just left broken. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't like that. It's kind of like a lot of stories do that, where something changes, but it's for the better.
Right.
And they show the loss as being something like it must happen, right? It's to make way for something better and new. So I don't know. If something bad happens, I usually want something good to make up for that. But you know.
Oh, you mean much like much like Hasbro's attitude to Twilight Soul Treehouse, going to the Crystal Castle.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a little different. That's like
It must go so something new can take its place on the toy shelves.
pew pew. Oh wow!
And I mean, even the tree blowing up, that was kind of dark.
Yeah, that was pretty dark. I usually tend to like character building things more. You know what I mean? Like the lightsaber was a character thing. He's like, he feels invincible with the lightsaber. You can feel that he, that's his crutch, right? It's like Iron Man in his suit, right? It's like if he doesn't have his suit, he's like, oh, what do I do? And later on, he's like, okay, it shows he built his own, right? And so he's grown, right? But same thing. I kind of like. They did stuff like that in this story. You know what I mean? It was short. It was kind of short, too short to have big things like that. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's like, it depends on timing. It's like, really, the dark moments are best served to really punch you in the gut emotionally.
Yeah. They do that, and I like being lifted back up. That's what I mean. It's the classical. It's a classical arc of a hero. They need to come back from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some stories don't write that. They write this story. The character never comes back, and that's kind of why I didn't like the new series of Star Wars, is because it shows that they never came back. You know what I mean? They stayed broken. It's like
like sad. the whole it's always darkest before the dawn kind of thing.
Yeah. That's what I mean. There's no shadows on Nightmare Moon. I can't make highlights. What do we do? What do we do?
Couple things I could say about what was last year. Couple things I could say about what was last inspired. I remember the controversy that came out after the new castle. A lot of people were like, a lot of people were either furious about the new castle. I think that's cooled down. I'm pretty sure that's cooled down a bit. And but then there was like, okay, it helps to sell the new toys. I'll give it a shot.
Well, it doesn't help that I remind you this is getting to season 5, but that castle when they're trying to get Twilight used to that song when they're trying to get Twilight used to the castle, it's like, this isn't a good song. Like this, you're not making me feel enthusiastic about this castle. Is it just me, or did you kind of feel the same way with that song?
I will have to rewatch it, but I kind of understand what you mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get your point. I don't know what I thought about the castle. It's not in this story, obviously. So we get castle-less timeline. I don't know. I think I felt myself missing it just because it was normal by now. It's normal by now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like good, like I missed it because it was better or something, but I don't know. I think I think I like the castle more because it leads to them getting together more. How about that?
It's a good analogy.
I'm trying to remember season 5.
Uh-oh. That was a while ago.
I know, it's like, how much did they actually use the castle in season 5 other than like the beginning and the ending?
Yeah. Maybe it was just the staging ground I liked. And it led to some good episodes, and it has those good episodes, even though it technically wasn't really the reason they were good.
I don't think they really got into developing the castle until like season 6.
Yeah.
Like with the, wow, there are so many rooms kind of stuff.
Yeah, there was kind of only one big room originally, and Everyone else just assumed that it's kind of gotten to the level of room of requirement level of how does this fit in here?
And of course, now the castle is kind of being replaced by the school.
Yeah, and it's weird. I don't
It's
know.
like, was one place set not enough Hasbro?
It was not. 'Twas not. Obviously.
It sounds kind of like with the Force of Aliens from the first Cubers movie. The creators are like, oh shoot, we need to create toys. Let's create this school. Let's create this school. In this case, let's create the school. In this case.
Well, to be fair, at least they didn't take the 80s Transformers route for new toys. Kill off all the characters. New toy time.
Oh no.
Time for the next generation is what you're basically saying.
Huh?
Time for the next generation of heroes is what you're basically saying.
Yes.
What we might get with Avengers, we'll see. I kind of hope not, but we'll see.
Anyway, the other thing that also came up with the what was previously said. That's another story that needs to be explored. How did they get that Anakin Luke saber from Bespin Cloud City? Who knows where that actually landed?
No one knows, dude. Everyone's confused. They think it might have been it fell into a vent or something, and like some Ugnuks found it.
The janitor found it.
Yeah, basically, dude.
Oops.
It's a gradient thing. What's this do? Whoa.
Nope.
Little bit extreme there, isn't it? I think I might have to do this all by hand in one stroke. So, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, I was about to say good luck.
I only have like one last note left.
Yes.
What was that?
Yes, go on.
Oh, yes, Celestia seemed a bit trigger happy.
Yeah, I think it's your point of dumb. It's like they didn't have any information on her at the time. She seems a lot more. Well, we've gotten the homie Celestia now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what we've seen of her now is we've gotten several good episodes. I want more, but from what we've seen is she's kind of the I'm straight because I need to be. You know, I need to be strict, right? But deep down, I'm actually not that serious. You know what I mean?
Right. And of course, back then we were still half expecting Celestia to maybe do something in major times of crisis.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, we don't think that anymore.
I clicked the button, dude.
No.
What is it? Whoa.
What have you done?
Cried. I'll tell you what I will be doing, crying. We've kind of given up on Celestia actually doing her job, but
I mean, at least during the wedding, she made an attempt.
She tried.
So points for effort.
She's okay. Maybe okay. So the series one of the series I'm reading has a leader, right, who is super good at his job, right, but gives up deliberately very often just because it must be done to reach the end goals. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like
For the
his
sake of character development.
well, no. So like the castle gets invaded, right, or his palace gets invaded. And they don't have a castle; they didn't have enough money, and like he just gives up. And at one point, yeah, they throw him out of his own castle into the dungeons, right? and he just has set up his. He has like everything set up for him to live a comfortable life in the dungeons, like he was expecting it.
Oh.
And then he set up everything so that they will need him back, right? Like they're so reliant on him that after he's gone for like 3 days, they're like, oh shoot, we actually need him. and then he comes back and he's like, what'd I miss? You know, like, and he just basically ended up with a vacation. So maybe Celestia is with that. Maybe she just wants vacations. She lets it happen. She's like, I just need a vacation.
That's a little bit like Rip Van Winkle there. Only obviously without the singing.
It's the same idea, yeah. Like, of course, in this series, he calls himself a dictator, but he like literally never does anything a dictator would. But that's a funny point, is he pretends to be a dictator, but is so good at just being a normal ruler that he never acts like a dictator. That's what Celestia is. She's actually just she's a dictator, but she doesn't need to be called a dictator because she's so good at just being a normal ruler. She's the good king. In
Good princess.
In politics, the good king is like the best way to have a government. But as we see in My Little Pony and real life, if you have a good king, you can easily have a very bad king. And it's pretty easy to overthrow a king, so it usually doesn't last very long. Again, as we've seen in the show, it's super temperamental. If you have a good king like Celestia, a good princess, it works great for the time being, but you better keep on your toes, because that could end at any time very suddenly.
Another thing I just kind of thought of is like, I like the fact that I'm just gonna call her Nightmare Nyx. Realize
that's basically the nickname.
Like, she really like that. Okay, yeah, with no sun, there's no plants. No plants, ponies starve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. That's no good. No, we should probably have sun.
I do like how it's more of a realistic world, I guess. A realistic take on the fantasy world, because obviously in the show it's just implied that it just would work out, you know what I mean? Like, it'd magically keep working, or maybe she's just so dumb she just doesn't understand how it works, and she would just plunge everyone into eventual death. Maybe she just wants that. It's hard to tell.
Hey, do you think she's really that much of an expert in agriculture?
Kind of doubt it. You would think that you would at least know that plants need sun, though, eventually. You know, that's not that hard to think about. When I was reading this, I was like, they turned off. She finally lowered the sun, right? And I'm like, well, time to get in the nuclear submarines and go to the hot external vents, because everything's gonna freeze to death. Except volcanoes. Like, let's everyone go to volcanoes quick, because those are the only warmth we're getting.
You'll never guess what came up when you said that.
What?
I really can't pronounce the name, but it's the sub from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Ah, yes. Jules Verne. I've read Jules Verne. I actually just went through 20,000 Leagues. It's kind of fun to see it's fun to see, old ideas about new things, sort of. Like, submarines had he kind of had the peaceful. I don't know if he was joking or not, but it's made a point that he's like, no one will fight underwater because it's the perfect place to be, and it's like, that's exactly what people would do. Of course, people would fight there. It's like any place people go, they'll fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know, kind of funny. I think he was not joking, but to me, he's joking, because do you know ponies? They will fight if they must. And if you fight underwater, they'll fight underwater.
But again,
Also,
sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
But again, there's good. But again, there's good character consideration moments with the agricultural thing and whatnot. And I think it was implied. And I think it was implied at some point that she went through some sort of training of sorts. She also went to school previously.
Right.
So, because I definitely remember her sitting through a boring tax meeting. But yeah, she probably would have. But yeah, there's a good chance with all the information she probably would have gotten notice about the signs and whatnot.
Yeah, and speaking of school, sort of, I think the CMC I think the CMC were well used in this story.
Yeah, I like them.
Yes.
I can cheat. Look at this, guys. We can cheat. Sweet.
I was more thinking like, ooh, a picture he can actually use the sparkle brush on.
Yeah. I know, yeah. That too. Like, you can use the sparkle brush? That's never useful. Wow, look at that. It looks like I spent hours on that. But it took a matter of seconds. I'm gonna put a big star cluster every once in a while too, maybe. We got like dim ones, like. Wait.
But yes, you already made a good point. It was good that there was a lot of outlets Nyx was given, the ones who believed that she could turn over a new leaf and things like that.
Yeah.
I usually don't care. I don't know how I feel about the CMC. Okay, maybe it's kind of like Applejack, where it's like I like some episodes and I don't like others. You know what I mean? I think they were put to good use, but it's like my experience with them hampered that. You know what I mean?
Right. Also,
wow. Keep going. Sorry, I was with stars.
Yeah, you go ahead. I'll go later.
I wasn't gonna say anything important.
Yeah, it's like I'm just kind of thinking of stuff off the top of my head at this point, but it's like, yeah, they actually used a character that we haven't seen in quite a while. They actually used Twist.
They twisted, yes, twist back.
Yeah, it's like, when was the last time we saw her in the show?
Season 1, like ages ago. She's probably been in the background or something, but we just haven't noticed.
Again, another good believable outlet, and also we actually got to see a bit more between her and the Phillies.
Yeah, and in this universe, she's definitely more of a reoccurring character. It's kind of fun because I don't know. It's kind of same with CMCs but Twist is different because I don't know much about her. You know what I mean? So I was kind of reserved about the CMC because they can either be annoying or really cute. You know what I mean?
Right.
They were definitely probably more cute in this than annoying. It hit annoying once or twice, but much less than the show usually hits. You know what I mean? The show, if it's not a dedicated CMC episode, it's usually not that good for me. You know what I mean? If they're just if they pop up, they're usually just annoying. I don't know why. That's a sad way of looking at it, but that's just my take on it. I don't know.
Getting back to Applejack, I don't think she was. Getting back to Applejack, I think she was done pretty. Getting back to Applejack, I think she was done pretty well. There was no. I don't think that I can barely think of a moment where it was like, oh shoot, there's a character derailment.
Yeah, I think Rarity was executed well. Rainbow Dash was a little heavy. Pinkie Pie was a little heavy. Um,
Well, let's face it. Other than Twilight and Rarity, the rest of the main six weren't really utilized all that much.
yeah, which is sad. I'm not a huge fan of Rarity. I don't really care. You know, what I mean, I'm fine with having her a lot. You know, what I mean, I would prefer other characters. I don't know. It's kind of weird because I don't know why he chose to do Rarity so much because Rarity doesn't quite bond with Twilight. You know, there's pairings. You know what I mean?
Close.
Yeah, close horse. I don't know. Yeah, she who bonds with Twilight the best? I think it's usually kind of like Rainbow Dash or Fluttershy, I guess. I don't know. It's usually Rainbow Dash, I think. What would you say?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's usually, well, I would say Rainbow Dash and them work together because one's strong and one's kind of like the brains, you know what I mean?
Right.
And if guided correctly, they're pretty good together, you know what I mean?
Mhm. I just thought of another thing. It's like Trixie.
Trixie. Why you do this to us?
Like, and of course this was pre-season 3, so it's like,
I have
so
to
it's
give
like
them I have to give them an A for effort, though. I had to give them an A for effort, though, because obviously they were thinking a unicorn was best at magic.
it's like points for effort.
That was a shot in the dark, for sure. I'm just going to come out and say that was a total shot in the dark. They were really grasping at straws, apparently. They're like, yeah, unicorn horse that we all hate. Yeah, she's good. She'll be a good choice.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see her there.
It was, yeah. It was a good utilization of her.
Going back to your question on Rarity, there are two good reasons why she was used a bit more. She was the only one for a while, at least, that knew the secret. B, she was instrumental in the disguise, the vest and the headband and such.
That's true.
Yeah.
She's also the more gossipy of them. You know what I mean? And she can keep a secret the best, I guess. It makes sense. I'm just saying, yeah, it would have been fun to have maybe a slightly different person. I don't know. Again, I don't know how it would have gone differently because it didn't go differently. Yeah. Overall, I don't know. The characters were pretty consistent. I would say overall. I am kind of a picky person for that. I notice when characters aren't acting the way they should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a big unimmersive thing for me when they don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It hurts the story usually in smaller ways, but kind of big ones, I guess. I don't know.
I think the easiest way to do that is whenever there's I think the easiest way to do that are the kind of Applejack episodes where basically like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Honest Apple being a good example. Honest Apple being a good example. good example of. Oh dear.
Like the whole rarity thing.
Try to be honest, whenever you try to be honest, but yeah, it wasn't uplifting, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, Pee-wee. I forgot about Pee-wee.
Oh yeah, he was there too. Well,
oh yeah, he was
mentioned.
Yeah, he was in it several times. From what I can remember, wasn't he?
He and Philomena.
He didn't do much, obviously, but
they were there.
it's a thought that counts.
Yeah.
Existence awareness. That's good to note.
But yeah, there are a few times where like reading it just felt kind of off since we're currently in season 8 now. But I'm willing to forgive a lot due to when it was written.
Yeah, same for me.
It's just something to kind of have to adjust to.
I have trouble doing that because I feels like I read it out of order. You know what I mean? Which you did technically, but I've always had trouble kind of with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wish I read it sooner. How about that? That's what I mean to say.
Right.
If anything. Ooh, that helps a lot, that shadow.
Ooh.
It makes it look like it was, yeah. Ooh. It's like a nebula. Oh, like, ooh, ah. Most of the stuff I do is just, I'm just going along and what looks good I keep, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that looks good, keep it.
Going back to something for the pre-show, I think that's when I said this. Anyway, did anyone get a sense of? I need to finish it. I don't know if I'm going to sleep or work or something of it. I don't know if I can sleep or work or anymore. I don't know if I can sleep or work without knowing exactly what happened next.
That sort of happened near the end. It picked up for me a bit near the end. You know what I mean? I get that way, like I said earlier.
Yeah, the last few chapters are basically where things get really clingy because you're wondering, is she going to survive? Is she going to survive? What are they going to do to her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really get that, but then again, I binge read it all in one go.
Yeah, so I had to go to bed several times while I was reading this, and I was just like, as much as I want to finish this, it's 1 a.m., so...
So, results may vary.
Results may vary. Well, it depends on, what you like.
But yeah, that was basically me the first time going through... Yeah, that was basically me the first time going through this. There were times where I almost couldn't sleep, and there were also times where... Times where I almost couldn't sleep, and there were times where I couldn't quite get... Where it almost seemed like I couldn't get schoolwork done, but it wasn't too. But I don't think it was too distracting from what I remember.
I can't remember. I got that way with. I did that a lot with that series I sent you. Let me. What was it called? My Philly Nightshine. That was kind of one of my first fanfics, and I really got into that.
Yeah, I still have that tab. I haven't gotten to it yet.
I don't blame you or anything. Yeah, it's just that's my fan fiction that I read and couldn't stop reading. Because that's just so. This is like this story is kind of story mixed in with cute factors every once in a while. Like my little what is it called? It's My Philly Nightshine is basically solid cuteness. You know what I mean? With like 1 or 2 chapters of not cuteness or a little bit more serious, right?
Right.
So it's definitely more of like you're reading at night stuff, fanfic type of deal. Oh, that looks really good, I think, so far.
Yeah.
It's
Shadows and all. Should I do what I did earlier on one of the earlier ones and do like shadows around the edges, maybe? Like big shadows?
Try it out.
Yeah. Maybe like... No. Lighter ones, much lighter ones. Maybe just around the glowingness. Kind of like that.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. Let me redo some of that. I didn't keep it all as one stroke. See, I'm still pushing down as on my pen. Nah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, actually, I installed the art program on my Nook.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the stylus I have does not work with it. Like
No, I hate that.
Like maybe I need to try like one of the those large rubbery kind of stylus things for tablets. I don't know.
They don't really work, dude.
Well, to be fair, the only thing I really have to work with is a DS stylus. Yeah, I was hoping something would work so I'd have something better to use than my mouse.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the mouse is undoable. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that helps a lot. That breaks it up.
yes.
Yeah.
Void white is not very good. You need something to bring your eye in, to the center.
Yeah, it's like my laptop doesn't have a touch screen, so I can't do that.
Dang.
So unfortunately, mouse is what I have to deal with for now.
Nice. They're so... Mice don't work, dude. Ugh. Mice really... I mean, if you're really dedicated, you can get it to a decent stature. It's so much nicer to just...
Yeah.
Splurge a bit and just get something that works for you. Kind of a pen is just so much nicer for drawing, and you can get pretty cheap ones now. Not really cheap, so it's an investment, but worth it if you like drawing.
I'm not that. Well, it's more of a side thing. It's like I'm not really that great of an artist.
Well, you can get better at it.
Yes, I'll be honest. Like I don't really have a very stable hand.
Ah, yeah, that's definitely part of it. I have a decently stable hand. It gets jittery if I get excited.
Yeah, I was actually hoping to use my old Nook with this program. Unfortunately, it's not compatible.
Dang.
Yeah, I was hoping I could get at least some use out of the old Nook. No such luck.
What, you thought you could be smart with your money? No. You're wrong. No, it's like, wow. It's just, it's sometimes the programs don't work.
Yeah, the Nook's just too old.
I think I'll do the classic signature right there. I gotta remember to sign more of my stuff. I don't know what else I could add. I like where this is at.
Yeah, it looks really good.
This is one of my, I personally like this quite a lot. This is one of my better ones, I think. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but just, I don't know, I like this one. Plus, it's of a good story, so.
Yeah.
Do you think I should add bandages? I don't know. I kind of like it without.
Yeah, don't bother with those.
Yeah, it's like, it's not really worth it. It's done.
I would say that would help with. I would say that would make it a bit more accurate, but.
Yeah, accuracy is not everything.
Yeah. I mean, I could add a lot, or I could, I don't know. It's kind of nice just like that. I don't know. I could see what it looks like. I don't know if I'd like it or not. Yeah. I'll add it on the same level as this. I kind of actually don't really know how to draw one. Or I'm a little scared at drawing one. To draw one. It's going to be kind of hard to see because it'll be on gray as well.
I guess I can get down to some. I guess I can start. I guess I can get down to some interesting question. Get down to some interesting question. Get down to some interesting questions regarding this.
Any
where would it?
Okay.
What parts would you say hit you in the feels the most?
What would you say, sarcasm?
Well, the point when Celestia takes Nyx away towards the middle-ish.
That's one of the bigger ones.
I would say, for me, I like the happier ends the most. They get me more, I guess. I liked the ending quite a lot. It was a pretty good ending. It's one of the better endings I've seen done. So that's a plus for me. Where should I put this? It's above this.
I would say another good feels moment is after the monster attack, where she's basically all in. After the monster attack, where she's basically all injured, and her condition is.
Right.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good scene. Should I do the fancy thing and I'll make some darker than others? Watch this. Maybe I should have made a bandage version and a non-bandage version.
Yeah.
I think I can still do that.
That might actually work.
Like, okay, what layers are these on? Oh, okay. Let me. Ugh. Yeah, this is gonna be hard. Let me just undo a bunch of what I've done already, and I'll make it its own layer. It won't be hard to redo. Yeah, I'll do that. So you were saying, yeah, Nyx is one of your favorite characters of all of MLP. I didn't know that, actually.
From the story. I would also say from the story. I would say she's one of my favorite OCs that has come out from the fandom. In terms of the actual show, there's Twilight, and this story is partially to blame for that. There's Rarity, because that's actually what I got in the Potent Personality test.
I don't think I've ever taken a test like that. Maybe I'll have to do that eventually. It'd probably be something like Bangladesh. I would guess. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, this is a better idea with having it all as one layer.
Yes.
And then you can just have a bandage and a non-bandage version. Nah, it's kind of hard. I'll have a nose bandage. No,
Although, when you save, doesn't it prefer to have it all merged into one picture, into one layer?
Yeah.
So, wouldn't saving the different versions be a bit difficult?
They might, yeah. I have an idea. I'll figure that out in a sec. Yeah.
Unless you can somehow export a file and then import it back afterwards.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is open another one that you think you got what I was gonna do, basically. I'll save it like.
Yeah, that might work. Save it without the managers and then bring it back in and then add them.
Yeah. What is one of your favorite fan fictions? Sarcasm.
That is a difficult question because I've read so many of them.
I am not worthy, Master. I've only read like 5. I don't know how many I've read.
Well, you have to understand, I have like over 2,200 fanfics on my Nook.
Oh my.
Ish.
I didn't know a Nook could carry that many.
I still have a lot of stuff on my read later list that I haven't gotten back to yet. Or at best are waiting for more chapters to be added.
That too.
I mean, mind you, I have stuff from all sorts of fandoms, so it tends to build up quickly.
Yeah, that would do it. Divide and conquer.
The Pony has become one of the larger sections of fanfic I've had.
I think it might be one of the cleaner of the fanfic genres. You know what I mean? It's usually more wholesome. I don't know. I don't really know the other. I wouldn't know. What would you say? Does it have any? I don't know.
I'm not sure if cleaner was good. I'm not sure if cleaner was a good word, considering how.
Yeah.
You know how there are some people that go after dark.
Yeah. I don't know. Are we considering like Star Wars and stuff? Those are fanfics. I mean, like there's novels for those. There's like legitimate novels for those, you know.
There's legit novels, there's legit comic books, there's...
Yeah. It's
legit novels that
surprising.
are no longer in canon.
Yeah. Rip. Yeah, there's legit novels, there's legit comics, there's non-legit comics, there's non-legit it's like literally they have both, and they both once were canon, or both are.
By the way, the Infinities miniseries was actually one of my earliest introductions to the alternate universe type of deal.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the Infinities comics.
What is it about?
Basically
what if scenarios?
Of what series?
Alternative scenarios of the original alternative versions of the original trilogy.
Oh, okay, Star Wars. Okay.
I don't know exactly if they've gotten into the prequels yet, but that's all I know at the moment.
Updated version. Da-da-da.
Yay!
She brained her calves on the on like a cart or something. I've done that where you hit both hands on something and it gets a line across both of them. Ah. She's got a band-aid on her chin too. You got to have that.
But yeah, like
you need a porn band-aid. keep going. I was just trying to make a joke.
But yeah, it's I actually have the fanfic separated between regular and crossover.
Oh gosh.
Just so they're more easily searchable.
And then we're gonna just open it again, and we'll have a duplicate. Oh, okay, it worked. We're good. Okay.
Oh.
and then we'll just yep. Just delete these. And then let's go through and see which layers I don't need. This one. This one. This one. Everything else I need. Okay. I kind of want to save this like this as well. I've now been saving them as files and as PDFs, which is a smarter way to do it.
No bandage nicks.
No bandage nicks. Save. And bandage nicks should get rid of these. Let's get rid of these. All right, there we go. And just save. Wow, I think that's good. We got this, guys. Oh, let's just delete this. I don't need this.
Yeah, I think we're done with referencing.
I don't need you no more.
Four.
Yay!
Yes.
Okay, it's even there. That's better. You could have like Mario style. It's like, and then it goes away. We got 2 drawings technically today.
Yay, technicalities! Woo!
It's double the drawings. All right. Well, so want to do overall feelings about the fanfic?
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Are you considering continuing to read the series?
Oh yeah, it's like I already had them on the guys. Just waiting until I actually read the original first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. My opinion, I quite liked it. It's right up there with the other one I just read. My first one. I think I still like the first one I read a little bit more because my Night Shine thing, or my Philly Night Shine. I just like that a bit more because it's more. I guess it's more feely, gushy stuff. I don't know. I like that stuff sometimes. This one has more of an adventure story to it, which I also like. I like adventure stories. And I will probably read all the rest of them in the series. I'm actually almost a little bit more excited for these other ones because I liked where the story was left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost a little bit more than getting there. You know what I mean? I liked the last 2 chapters a lot, so I'm interested at where it will go. So, yeah. What about you, Alex? How did you reread it, or did you just, brush up on it or something?
I've actually read it several times over, so I pretty much got the thing by heart. And I think I've already said it. Favorite fan fiction of all time.
Nice. Well, yeah, it was. Overall, we all liked it. I think quite a lot.
Yeah.
Would you suggest it, Sarcasm?
Yeah.
Obviously, Alex, you would.
It's one of the big classics.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a big following from what I've seen. So yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on the author, and it looks like he may or may not be back because he posted that thing on his website I saw, or his fanfic. It looks more like he was just there for the anniversary, but I hope he'll be back to write more stuff. I always like authors that keep up with their stuff.
It's like I texted you. He comes back and forth on occasion. My best guess now is for select anniversaries. Like for the fifth, he had glimpses. I'm not sure if he'll come back for the 10th, but
yeah.
Like I said, inspiration has to hit him in order to actually go on.
I've always thought about doing like a fanfic, and I don't know. I've always kind of shied away from it because it would just be so much dedication, a lot of work. And so I understand why, they have trouble doing it for so long. And a lot of these guys are like, they've been around for so long. Yeah. They joined in like 2012 or whatever. And they're still, at least, they're not totally gone, and they still make stuff every once in a while. So it shows dedication, yeah.
So it's been around since 2012, and I'm pretty sure that since the birth of the fandom, which was 2011, there have been other places where fanfictions have popped up. Fanfiction.net, DeviantArt, Google Docs linked to Equestria Daily.
Yeah, I usually look at Equestria. I check out Equestria Daily for my fanfic. Usually, I don't have enough time usually to look through all of the fanfics that have come out. So I usually just check out what they suggest, and then maybe if it interests me, that's how I found My Little Nightshine, because it interests me, and it was I had never done a fanfic, and that one kept popping up, so I'm like, I'll try it out.
Yeah, I don't think we get around to looking through the EQD lists.
They seem like they're pretty decent. Obviously, I kind of only follow that the My Little Philly Nightshine right now, so I don't really know you know, I wouldn't have much of an opinion on other things, but it looks like they have a pretty wide spectrum. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's cute stuff, and then there's usually a darker one or an adventure one, and then they'll occasionally just do a pop up of a one or two of something, like a short story. They'll do a short story. It seems pretty random though. Like I don't know what they choose them for. Like they've gone from they literally referenced they suggested one referencing my favorite show, or I mean favorite book series, and then they referenced one with super dark undertones and like really a lot of gore. So it's like like totally opposite ends of the spectrum occasionally. Okay. Yeah. You want to close this out, Alex?
I was actually had some more actually had some questions that we mean to go. Actually had some questions that we mean to go through, but you.
Okay.
Actually had some questions that we mean to go through. You kind of jumped us ahead, but anyway.
We can do it.
One of the questions that we need to ask, but kept getting interrupted, unfortunately. Anyway.
All right.
I'm not sure if there's other notable characters exclusive to the story, but I think it's best to put it like this: of the two, which one did you like more, Nyx or Nexus?
Sorry, which
Nyx.
one? Nyx?
Nyx or Nexus?
Nyx by far, yeah. Not even close.
Yeah.
What next? What other questions you got, Alex?
Were there any things you felt could have been changed or something?
Maybe hinting at it might be cool if Nightmare Moon, maybe if she took more to her name, I guess, switching it to Nyx. It was kind of a thing, but it would be fun if she kind of corrected a bunch of people on it, you know what I mean? She never really did that. It'd be kind of fun if she was more defiant, you know what I mean? He's like, no, I'm not Nightmare Moon, I'm Nyx, you know what I mean? She kind of did that once, like, at the end, but it would be kind of cool if, like, a bunch of people kept calling her Nightmare Moon and she was very defiantly Nyx, you know what I mean? A small nitpick. It might be fun to also have a little bit more of the same type of idea where she's kind of struggling a bit more internally, and the Nyx and her came up a bit more, maybe, throughout the whole story, you know what I mean? It'd be kind of cool if it was like a double-minded thing, where she kind of has the Nightmare Moon thing, and Nyx is kind of like this character in the back of her head.
The Two-Face effect.
Yeah. You get what I mean, though, yeah. I want to see if... What would you say, Sarcasm? Do you have any suggestions? Well, I kind of like that. Oh, yeah, that's better. Oh, yeah. Ooh. There we go. Yeah, that's better.
If you didn't get it, the question was anything that could have been say improved properly, something that could have been changed. aside from the,
Are you muted,
Oh.
Sarcasm? Yeah.
I just realized that.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, he must be muted or something.
oh,
It's like every now and then, and I start hearing like kind of a whooshing in the background, like, oh no, I get like, oh no, is that coming from my end? It's like, and sometimes it seems like it's clearing up, and sometimes not. So it's like, I just forgot to unmute it again. But anyway, it's like, other than like the whole cop out with the whole, well, no one's responsible for their own actions thing. Can't really think of anything else.
Yeah, that I was.
That's like the one issue I really have with it.
Yeah.
any characters you two felt could have had a few touch-ups?
Not really.
So so basically the set show characters basically all felt
They were all okay, you know, for when the I can't, and with when it was written, and you only had so much to go with for characterization.
yes.
Yeah. I think I like this smile better. Yeah, I don't know. What's your next question, Alex?
Is it safe to say that at the time the story was written, they pretty much predicted the name of predicted the true name of the? Is it safe to say that this story pretty much predicted the true name of the winged unicorn sort of thing?
Huh?
Or have there been others that have basically used it for a while before the show started to adapt it?
I kind of missed like half that question.
Yeah.
The alicorn thing. Was this story one of the major predictions? Or, was this story one of the major predictions, or was this story one of the major predictions before they finally started using it, or was it bronies in general? They pretty much had been using the name for a while before.
Oh.
That's a good question.
Isn't it just like so alicorn, like they hadn't used the word alicorn or something in the show yet? And
Not at that point now.
Oh, okay. Isn't it more of a mythical thing? Like, in alicorn, isn't that a terminology? So it technically, you know, they would.
Traditionally, it's supposed to be the material the unicorn horn is supposed to be made out of. Bronies will later adapt this term to describe the princesses.
Ah.
I'm Googling it right now.
But basically, would you think that this would have been? But basically, would you think this would have been one of the major turnarounds, or were there, or was there a time it had been used before that?
I don't know. I think
somehow led to the name being said in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Because I basically adopted the term. thanks to the story.
Huh. I think someone's doing this around with the Wikipedia page. I googled alicorn. It took me to the Wikipedia page for winged unicorn, and then it goes through that whole beginning intro thing, and ends with heh heh heh. Like, I think someone needs to do some more editing here.
Probably. Yeah. Sorry, I was dealing with this. That's an interesting question. Hadn't thought about that. Yeah. I looked it up as well. Led to some interesting things. What's another question, Alex? Or another one on your list?
Which particular appearance would you like the most? Philly without disguise, Philly with disguise, Grenadalt without the armor, Grenadalt with the armor. Somewhere around there.
Could you elaborate on that question? Just a little bit.
Do you remember when she was? Did you remember when they gave her a vest and headband?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was basically asking regarding it. It was basically a question regarding appearance. Would you see her just Philly or Philly with vest and headband and or glasses? Yeah, or the options are Philly with vest, headband, glasses, and or adult without armor, adult with armor.
Philly disguise.
I would say Philly without disguise. I like that, yeah.
Philly's definitely more. Yeah, Philly's definitely more iconic. Yeah, Philly's definitely the more iconic.
I'll have to. So after in the end of the story, does she still have the same eyes, like the slit eyes? I forgot what they're called.
Dynamics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or are they normal? Okay, no. So they're still, but people just know that it's her, so it doesn't really matter, obviously.
Yeah.
Same code, same eyes. Just that the main had to have that sprucing up of magic in order to actually get there.
Will we see Twilight flowing mane eventually? Hope so. One can only hope.
Perhaps.
What's the next question, Alex?
That's still up in the air.
We'll see. Yeah.
What could you say about how you could tell if it was a cult member? How could you tell if it was? What would you say about how you could tell if it's a cult member or not? Would have been better off without the eyes, or would have been, or is it best with the eyes?
It's kind of like the Dark Mark from Harry Potter. Same idea, you know. Where it's like you're a part of this cult, and you know you need initiation, basically. I always found like initiations like that kind of stupid. I do like how they could hide it, but I mean I feel like that's slightly cop out, you know, because like the Dark Mark was something permanent, you know, and you couldn't get rid of it. So it showed your true loyalty if you couldn't hide it. You know what I mean?
it was okay, but for some characters, it probably could have been hinted a bit better.
Yeah. It could have been used a lot more ominously, I guess. But oh well.
Just felt like it was kind of one of those things that was kind of added on tacked on as like an afterthought.
Yeah, it might have been. It's hard to say. It totally could have been. What's your next question, Alex?
Was there any point you felt it could have been satisfactory, or like if it ended there, you could have been satisfactory, or the actor, or were the other chapters, or were the last chapters perfectly necessary?
I think they probably were. Yeah. I almost wanted more, actually, but
I think it ended on a good point.
yeah. I think anywhere sooner would have been too soon, and anywhere later would maybe have gone on too long. You know what I mean? It was a good length, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's like it kind of gives you sort of a sense of closure, but it's open enough where, like, if he wanted to continue, he could.
Overall satisfaction, but at the same time opening the portal, basically.
Yeah.
He's established an alternate universe, yeah. What's the next one, Alex? These are good questions, by the way. Makes you think.
Does the idea of Twilight being a mother hindrance or help hurt the character?
It changes it. I don't know if it was a good thing or I liked it, right? I liked it, to be honest, but I don't know if that was like the normal show. I don't know how it would have been taken. You know what I mean?
Right. It gives that further attachment feeling,
Yeah.
you know?
I liked it a lot. Like, I personally liked it a lot, but it's like, if that was a show, it probably wouldn't have been taken well. I don't know why. I don't know. Like, I was expecting it to happen eventually, and I did like it was fulfilling when it happened finally, right? It's like a different Twilight, you know what I mean? The Twilight we have is kind of like the micromanaging needs to help everybody type thing, right? Character going on, right? And this Twilight, this one in this universe is more of like, I'll sacrifice anything for Nyx, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas, yeah, like, there's no world ties like Nyx in the TV show. Like, Spike is kind of seen as that, but they're just never probably going to say that, you know. They've kind of hinted at it several times, but it's just like they just don't want to go into it, you know what I mean, in the show.
Right.
There's points that they kind of dodge around just because it'd be a little hard to talk about. What's the next question, Alex?
would your thoughts on the new What would your thoughts on the new location be? The Castle of Nightmare.
Oh.
All right, that was the thing.
Yeah, that was the thing.
I'm getting kind of tired. It's like
I don't know. I kind of I'm okay with it. I don't know. Again, in the show, I think it would be a little too much castles. You know, we've had too many of these magical buildings pop up. At the time, it wasn't that overdone because it was kind of like the first thing to do it. You know what I mean?
I don't think this was that magical.
It wasn't. It was explained. I meant magically that everyone didn't know about it, and then boop, there it is. You know what I mean? It was explained how that happened, but yeah, still same idea.
Much like with Twilight's Castle, it could be fleshed out a bit more.
Yeah, good idea, but kind of quickly executed. Probably less so. The Twilight's one is even faster. You know what I mean? With less stuff, but because at least Nightmare Moons kind of makes more sense, but still, it doesn't really make much sense to put it in Ponyville other than plot. It's like, why would you put it in the capital there, or why wouldn't you put it in the capital or something like that?
Because reasons.
Yeah. Well, and like Twilight's castle appeared there because, yes, of magic, but also because she started there and she needed a home. So it's a little explained, you know what I mean?
And that's where the box landed.
Yeah, that's where it just randomly flew up in the sky and like, ooh, yoink, crashed there. It was literally a dice throw.
Which I think people were also kind of disappointed at Twilight's Castle because like I kind of spilled off with the Castle of the Two Sisters, like, oh, doing stuff with that. And they're like, oh, whoops, new castle now. So much for that.
It's kind of like a manor. How about that? We'll say it's a manor. It's Twilight Manor. It's like not quite a castle because it doesn't have walls and such, but it's quite large. It's a palace. It's like the show, the book I was talking to you about. It's like it is the palace that everyone goes to because it's a capital, but no one wants to call it a castle.
Your thoughts on her cutie mark? Would you like a bit of a design change, or would you have liked something different?
I felt it might have been a little bit over simplistic. I don't know. Cutie marks are simple, but that was really simple. You know what I mean?
Well, again, this is like season 2.
Yeah. Maybe if it had, instead of like, maybe the shine would be more moon shaped, and I don't know, you'd have, or the shine wouldn't be there and it'd be like a sparkle, like Twilight Sparkle. That might be fun. Or I don't know, maybe the shield was, we kind of have shining armor, which is kind of weird because it's kind of got the shield already.
That one has a star.
That's true. Yeah, literally just described shining armor star, cutie mark. So I don't know. They're gonna fight over protecting because that's his job. That's my cutie mark.
Yeah, I don't really have any issue with it.
I think it was, yeah, of its time, and maybe you could come up with something better, but I don't know what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of saying it.
Your death moments. Would you say they could have been toned down, or are they fine as they are? And are they necessary?
I don't know. I think for me personally, they were a little bit of a tone change because they hadn't really talked about much of that up until that point. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I love when it's kind of like in a weird state of they just kind of don't acknowledge death. You know what I mean? They say like the best they've done was destroy. You know what I mean? Or will eliminate, or stuff like that. So it's like they never really. It kind of felt like they were trying to stick to the show's canon. And I think it got slightly too dark for the show's canon, which, if you're trying to stick to that, then that's my suggestion. But if you don't really care, then it's fine, I think. I don't know. It may be a little extreme at points, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, it's like I've read stuff that got darker than that, so it doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah, I haven't done much dark fanfic, so I don't really. Yeah, I have more of a thing to say about it. You know what I mean? I don't like it quite as much, I guess. And I've just never been a dark fan. You know what I mean? As I explained earlier.
Yeah, I'm most open to most type of things as long as it's written well.
Yeah.
I can take Dirk, just not as heavy as, say, something horror or the like.
It was never like horror or anything, no. But
Right.
This wasn't it. This definitely wasn't it.
no. It got dark, but never too dark. I mean, close, but yeah. I'd say a little too close, but that's just my opinion,
Would you say the sisters made fair decisions regarding Nyx near the end?
I think, yeah. I don't know. It was, everything was kind of unfair to Nyx because, it's like she was just kind of thrown back into her evil doing, and she kind of had to work from zero to finally overcome it. You know what I mean? So it is kind of nice that she's just kind of reset. You know what I mean? But with experiences that an adult would have.
Yeah.
I think it works. It definitely. It's one of the things I kept saying was one of my favorite parts of this story. So obviously I liked it. Now I don't know. I'd probably. I don't know. It's hard to say what I'd do in their position. I think it was a pretty good. Obviously, I thought it was a good choice, but.
Favorite.
It was kind of. Sorry, keep going.
Go ahead.
Never.
Go.
I was just gonna say. It was a little cheap because we didn't know that was an option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the last bit, it seems kind of. I mean, it's not horrible. Just like. I'm trying to find words,
I think so, yeah. I think it was, if they established that that's what they could do a little earlier on, I don't know. Maybe not, because it would take away from the surprise, I guess. I don't know. With the reveal or whatever. But we were interrupting you. What were you saying, Alex? You're doing the next question, I think. Yeah.
Actually, I wasn't quite sure if you guys were done yet. Before I would ask it.
I think we're good. We're good.
Favorite character moment. Favorite moment of character development. Whether they were sort of thinking it over to themselves, talking over to themselves, or even something like that.
Nyx's internal battles are fun. I like those usually. And
Those are the good ones.
yeah, I also like Twilight's ones. Not quite as much as Nyx's, I guess. And I usually I'm usually a sucker for Luna, so some of those were nice as well. But probably Nyx overall for me. What would you say, Sarcasm?
Yeah, like the internal struggles, and especially Nyx's interactions with the CMC, both in Philly and Nightmare Nyx forms.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good moments.
Favorite moment to imagine visually?
What do you mean by that? Sorry, say again.
Favorite moment to picture. Favorite moment from the story you can picture in your head.
Probably the homecoming at the end. You know what I mean? Or Twilight finally seeing the judgment that Celestia and Luna did. I like that. I always like stuff like that.
Huh. Actually, now that you brought up the whole picturing it in your head thing, like I kind of started the conversation between the CMC and Nightmare Nyx. I kind of started having that in my head, you know?
Yeah.
Because that was a really good scene.
That was kind of one of our final moments, a decision, kind of like, before she started making good decisions.
Yeah. The real turning point for that.
What do you have to say about her special book, where the special little trinkets were kept, like the kazoo, blue ribbon from the play day?
Uh-huh.
I like that. It wasn't. I don't know. It was fun. It kind of felt like a second. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't really established earlier on, but
I kind of missed the question. What was that?
Remember that book? Remember that book that she used to keep the little trinkets, like the kazoo and the ribbon?
she had them go steal it from her house or from Twilight's house.
Oh, right, that. Sort of. I did binge read it through it, so it's like I may have missed like the items themselves. I sort of remember, but like so I'm kind of spacing out again. It's like
No, it's fine.
I was basically asking what your thoughts on that.
it's fine.
I think it wasn't a highlight for me, but it was fun. It led to Twist, the thing with Twist, and that I like that, obviously.
Yeah.
Twist's birthday party.
Yeah.
Would this give you an interesting take on Nightmare Moon?
I don't know. I don't know if it
focused on, because it was well focused on emotions.
I don't know if it gave me an interesting thing on Nightmare Moon, because I guess I always kind of classed her as Nyx and not really Nightmare Moon in my mind. You know what I mean?
Same here.
Yeah.
Nightmare the character. Basically, she was sort of she was the story implies she's basically born out of emotions.
Yeah, I always it didn't change my opinion too much of the TV show one, obviously. Just because it's basically the emotional version of Nick sort of and Twilight. I mean Luna combined sort of. I don't know. Guess it hadn't crossed my mind much. I usually try to keep the fanfics away from the show. You know what I mean? In my mind, I am a person that likes to categorize stuff, and yeah, fanfics are kind of a weird position for me because I don't like to class them as real, but you know they get to me sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It's my internal monologue that isn't important, but is important to me. I just, I basically pretend like I remind myself that these are just made up universes, even in the made up universe. That sounds weird, but you kind of understand, I think.
Yeah, it's called anything.
Huh?
Do you have anything on how this might have changed your thoughts on how this might have changed your thoughts on Nightmare the character? Was it, but do you feel that kind of developed her a bit, or
What he said.
all right? Favorite moment as a filly, favorite moment as an adult.
Favorite problem, you said?
Favorite moment.
Oh, moment. Probably when they first met Nyx, kind of, and Twilight brought her home. That was cute. I like that. As the filly. And I liked this scene, I think, the most as an adult.
Yeah, it's, yeah, first meeting as Philly and it keeps coming back to that CMC conversation for you know.
Yeah.
Would you think this version of Twilight would trust Celestia again? That was a bit of a concern that Celestia had in the later chapters.
Sorry, what? Repeat?
Would you think Twilight would trust Celestia again?
Probably, given a little bit of time.
Will Twilight trust Celestia? I hope so. I'm guessing so.
It wasn't explicitly implied that she would. But explicitly implied that she was full blown not trusting her again. It's just basically Celestia was like, I don't know if she has the will to trust me again.
Yeah, she does say that once. I think that was just her overreacting a bit. Because usually Twilight's pretty forgiving.
Which of the main six would you say was overall the most hostile towards Nyx?
Which
What
one
was that?
Yeah.
Which of the main six would you feel? Which of the main six do you feel was was the most hostile towards Nyx?
Definitely Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Not that we really got much from them anyway, so, you know.
Yeah, it didn't add up to anything really, yeah, for her. Plus, in the end, Rainbow Dash was kind of like, oh, you know, Fluttershy one-upped her, and she kind of subsided after that. She didn't really give her opinion much after that. Kind of implied she hadn't thought it through all the way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now the opposite, which would you say is the most open to Nyx? Aside from Twilight, of course.
Obviously Fluttershy.
Yeah.
And yeah, Fluttershy by far. And the CMCs, obviously.
Of course.
I gotta be careful I don't say CNC. Like a CNC machine. You're this close. But both make sense, obviously. The character motivations make sense.
Would you say Twilight was asking the right questions regarding Nyx in the earlier stages?
I think, as with most stories, it should have been more obvious, but yeah. With most stories like this, it's like it's really obvious to the author, and it should be. I mean, to the reader, but it also probably should be to the character. But you know, it's just you kind of write it off as just one of those things. And it's not too important, you know what I mean? And it's believable. It's not really bad. Like, the questions she asks and the answers she gets and the conclusions she meets are all relatively okay, you know what I mean? There was a couple really know-it-all. Like, I mean, like, the eyes and stuff. That's like, okay. There's probably something different, you know what I mean? You've never seen someone else with these types of eyes, and it's just, yeah. Should be kind of a giveaway. But oh well.
Colin?
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Taking all your thunder, sarcasm.
Yeah, I'm kind of running on fumes right now.
How much sleep you get? You got a decent amount, didn't you? You said? I forgot.
Yeah, but I got woken up off schedule, and that always messes me up for the rest of the day.
That's true.
Then it's like 12:15. I'll also have to wake up early tomorrow to record the episode.
Maybe we could do. Maybe later on we can just watch it together. I don't know. It's hard to say. Probably not a live stream, but we'll just watch it together.
Right.
All right, Alex. Do you have any other questions, or are you about almost out?
Would you say this would have gotten people prepared for some eventual redemptions that came down the line?
Yeah, it hinted at them. I mean, the show is obviously for kids, so it's gonna have that type of stuff. I've always not. Some people really take redemptions worse than other people. I always kind of like redemption stories, because I think because they're rare in real life. You know what I mean?
It's okay if written well.
Yeah, that's true. It should have a reason. Usually they're pretty good, reason-wise.
And depends on what they do with them afterwards.
Yeah, if they're just void. Discord is kind of... Discord's kind of like one of those that goes in and out of being written well or not.
Yeah. Whereas Sunset and Starlight are examples of okay, I kind of know what they're doing here. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's a predicament. I think this one was actually handled almost better than the shows have handled them. Starlight's pretty good. Trixie's kind of weird, you know, she's kind of like half redeemed, half not. Same with like Discord, he's kind of the same, but just not quite as ambitious.
Right. Oh yeah, Diamond Tiara. I forgot they redeemed her too. Not that they've really done much with her lately.
Who? Sorry again?
Diamond Tiara.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, oh yeah, redeemed characters.
Ta-da! Are you happy? They won't do anything like that again, but here they are.
What am I looking at?
What am I looking at? I don't know. I'm just sketching because, yeah, I'm running out of time. I do have other... I think I should really go to bed pretty soon here. I ended up only getting 2 hours of sleep, so... Oh well.
Right. Yeah, it's like, and I usually wake up at 6 o'clock to watch the live stream that eventually shows the episode.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I need to do that more often. I'll have to catch the next one. I don't think I can do this one.
I mean, thankfully I got last week off. Since, you know, we already got to see that episode early.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, the episode we'll be talking about tomorrow. Or today, now.
Yeah.
Would you say Nix was asking the right questions to herself and to basically Pony's accused of wrongdoings overall? Good example being, how many bad decisions can a bad pony make in order to be a bad pony?
I think it's a little different in this universe because, I don't know, yeah, people are too easily redeemed usually. In real life, people usually choose to do something and they usually will stick by it. to the end. The message of the story was kind of... It's partially true, I'd say, but partially you shouldn't follow it all the way. You know what I mean? You need to give people chances, but if they say they're going to do something and they're locked in, it's kind of... Yeah.
Well, I kind of got more the message of, like, don't let people tell you who you're supposed to be. You choose who you're going to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, the classics. The classics.
That still doesn't answer. Do you feel she was asking direct questions to herself?
Who is she questioning again?
Was she asking the right questions to herself?
I believe so, yeah. She's kind of coming from a point of ignorance, so...
Sir,
kind of expected. That's kind of... Oh, shoot, there's a police. It's like they've come and raided my... Yeah.
This is anonymous. We found your location.
Oh, shoot.
You're being evicted. Didn't pay your mortgage on time.
Let me grab my guns. Hang on.
Too many taxes. Even afford property taxes.
Put them up.
Your
Give me my guns.
Your internet fees are getting revoked.
Oh my gosh, it's so heavy.
Oof.
Get out of my lawn, you kid.
That's what she said.
I pay the taxes.
About it being heavy, not about.
Oh, hang on. I'm putting my earphones back on. I pay the taxes. Yes.
Okay.
I'm being evicted. I got a gun pointed at him, but
Still, it's my mind capture.
he doesn't have a gun. I got a gun.
This is
He's
my
just
mind
yelling at
capture.
me. He's got a wallet pointed at me.
I have op mode.
You have op mode. This is not allowed.
I have world edit.
Ops are banned here.
I have world edit. Prepare for the tiles to become lava.
Oh my gosh.
The floor is about to become lava.
You haven't coded in. You wouldn't dare.
Command
I can pull the
block.
trigger faster than you can hit enter.
I have a command block set up. Upon my taking
no,
damage, it's going to
no,
register.
you can't do that.
Redstone.
I think we've gotten off track somehow.
We've gotten off track too, yeah. But I got a gun pointed at this guy. It's a big one. It's got ammo in it. It's got Tabana gas. We're ready.
Being sexy.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, the cop comes in, breaks into my room, tries to evict me, and then claims sexual harassment. What is this?
It's Seattle.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Oh, like LA. Yeah. Sorry, I'm being evicted, guys. And
No.
what? Wow. I've been invaded.
Basically.
Yeah. How many questions did you have left, Alex?
With Luna, do you think she handled herself okay throughout the entirety?
Huh?
With Luna, do you think she handled herself okay throughout the entirety?
Oh yeah, Luna came out of the story pretty well. It's like, she seemed reasonable, if not a bit upset about being left out of the loop. Yeah, she was very reasonable.
She was. The guy is still here. He's just standing in my doorway.
Like a boss.
Yeah. I think she was. Yeah, Luna definitely made off the easiest. Obviously, Celestia made the most mistakes, as usual. It's always her fault. It was always your fault. It was bound to be.
I guess with I guess with that, then we can draw this special to a close, and we hope to see you guys tomorrow for Yakety Sax. Considering the fact that Nate's got some head over himself, and
Yeah, the cops came. I'm still dealing with them, but yeah, we'll be on for next week for sure.
Tomorrow,
right, is that right?
tomorrow,
Is that right, cops? I think so.
Yes, but you're being arrested right now,
Oh.
and you've lost your privilege for a phone call.
I can probably live stream though in the jail. Jail's okay. Prison's worse. No,
Jail's worse.
jail's worse than prison.
I know, because the guy I was working with in jail.
Okay, yeah.
hopefully you'll be around for tomorrow and the episode.
I hope so too. All right. The cops are arresting me. I'll see you guys.
This is the FBI.
Yeah, this is the FBI. Ah! I gotta save my files quick.
Take care, everyone.
Later.
Later, guys.